Okay, welcome everybody. I am so pleased you're here. Um, I'm just going to get my notes here so that I don't get mixed up. This is an exploration of containers, differences, and exchanges relating to resilient, high-performing leaders and teams. And my name is Catherine North, and I have a budding consultancy, Catherine North Consulting, and I was just so delighted to partner with all of you and to share this space and to practice using some of the human systems dynamics tools. We're going to use CDEs and the power of questions. I'm hosting this session from Richmond, British Columbia, and I'd like to acknowledge the First Peoples of the territory of the Hunkaminam language group on whose traditional lands I live, work, learn, and play. And the formal part of our session today is going to be about 60 minutes. And if we find ourselves in really juicy conversation, I'm prepared to stay on for at least another 20 minutes or so, so that we have time to wrap up whatever it is that, that we are talking about. And we'll break out into Zoom rooms. One group will stay in the main meeting space and the other group will move into the Zoom room. And you'll have a chance to select. So if you're interested in the resilience conversation, that'll be the group that joins into a Zoom space. So I have... Pardon?
Call you a little bit later.
Okay. I connected with Barbara and Stacy and Glenda in advance, and I'm hoping that they are prepared to assist with lending some of their knowledge and facilitating some of the conversation. So Stacy and I, we can do the performance conversation, and Barb and Glenda, you guys can take care, support the resilience conversation. Okay. So can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, great. We're using Google Jamboard, and so I am delighted to, this is my first time actually using it with a group like in this way, so I'm really hoping it works out well. So April 2nd, 2021, this is where we're at today. The purpose of the session is to explore containers, differences, and exchanges that influence resilient, high-performing leaders and teams. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to use the CDE model, container, difference, and exchange. And we're going to look at those dynamics that influence resilient, high-performing leaders and teams. And the model that's shown here is one that I crafted because I was noticing a real connection, and it was a way for me to express what I was noticing. So I would love to have your input and exploration as we go forward. So the HSD vision, do I have a volunteer for somebody who would like to read out the vision and then read out the simple rules?
I'll read the vision.
Yeah, please go ahead.
People everywhere thrive because we see patterns clearly, seek to understand, and act with courage to transform turbulence and uncertainty into possibility for all.
Thank you. And who would like to read the simple rules?
I'll read the simple rules.
Thank you.
So here we have a list of simple rules that starting stand in inquiry. And what does that mean? Turning judgment into curiosity, turning conflict into shared exploration, defensiveness into self-reflection, and assumptions into questions. We also find the energy in difference and search for the true and the useful. We zoom in and zoom out, and then we connect with stories and impacts and celebrate life.
Thank you. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Janice. I always love listening to those. So we're going to move into the power of questions over the course of our time together. The what, we'll explore the CDEs relating to resilience and relating to high performance. Then we'll move into so what, where we notice patterns, hypotheses, assumptions, narratives, and then move into now what, which is to identify our next wise action. There we go. And using the CDE model, we can look, oh, I'm waiting, sorry. Poor Helen's been waiting in my waiting room. Welcome, Helen. Using the CDE model, we can look deep into the dynamics of patterns around us. When we use the CDE model, we can see the patterns in our life and in our work, and we can identify conditions that give rise to those patterns, and we can speculate on how changing conditions can shift those patterns. The definitions are that containers are the similarities that contain the system while the patterns emerge. So that's what we're looking for when we define containers. For differences, we're looking for the significant distinctions that hold the tension and have greatest influence on the decision and the action. And with exchanges, those are the connections in the system that ensure the movement and transfer of information, energy, other resources. So those are the things that we're looking for. And we're using Google Jamboard, as you can see. It's an interactive tool. And the idea is that everybody will be able to pull up the Google Jamboard on a separate URL on your computer. And it's a live shared document, just like Google Word, Google Drive and a Google document. So you'll see on the left-hand side, there is a vertical bar, and we will use the sticky note, which is that one over there, and then the text box, which is the little T in the four corner box. These are the two tools that there are others, but those are the ones that are going to be simplest and most effective, I think, for our needs today. So take a moment, and I'm going to, right now, I'm actually going to just paste the, whoops, I have to move this over. I meant to do this a minute ago. We're going to paste, I'll paste the URL for the Google Jamboard into the text box. And if anybody needs it, it will be there. And I invite you to log in to the Google Jamboard, find page number 8, and you then use the text box feature and just plunk in a word that describes how you're feeling right now.